left religion and conservative Christianity, I realized that my former religion teaches its members that women are responsible for the emotional and physical load of any romantic relationship. Any Christian marriage self-help book has a misogynistic, sexist, male-centered, transactional expectation. I talked about last time how if men were responsible for the same emotional load that women are silently doing and are almost never appreciated for, nothing would get done. Very little would get done. Most relationships, after 3 years into it, would not last if it wasn't for women's silent labor and emotional, physical labor. And it's so sad. Women, it's kind of like you go to confession and you're doing all this labor, but there's nobody on the other side listening, caring, appreciating, or helping. And when men act like doing something that's their responsibility, what they chose to do, and what is expected of them, when men actually do it, they want an award for something women do every day and are almost never even acknowledged to have done it. You don't babysit your kids. If they're your kids, you take care of them. That's not babysitting. You should not get an award. You shouldn't even be thanked for taking care of your own kids. You chose that life. That's like thanking something for doing its job. Okay? Imagine thanking a plate for being a plate. You should not thank a partner for doing the bare minimum. If you want an award, if you want to be appreciated, you have to go well beyond the bare minimum. Doing the dishes is not a treat. Doing the dishes isn't doing something special for someone. That's your job. If you don't want to eat, and you don't eat at all, doing the dishes would be a gift, but that's your job. You're an adult. If you live somewhere, doing the labor that is responsible to keep a healthy, hygienic place to live, to keep your kids fed and cleaned and ready for the next day, you don't get a thank you for that. That's your job. You chose that life. Men have to be awarded or patted on the back for just doing the bare basic. And sometimes not even the bare minimum. If women had the expectations men have and didn't do the work, it wouldn't happen. It would seldomly happen. Our society's future and survival hinges on women doing 70% minimum of unpaid labor, emotional labor, and the plans and developments of just existing. Do you think men plan anniversary parties? I'm sure there are out there, but the majority of women who do those things are women. All the parties, all of the events that happened in my childhood home is because my mother did 90% of the labor. When someone does something nice for you that isn't their job, their role, or what they should be doing, you don't get a thank you. That's just being a decent human being. That's the bare minimum. Having a job, protecting your kids, feeding, clothing, and modeling good behavior. That's the bare minimum. Being a good parent is so much beyond that. And if you don't meet the bare minimum, you go to jail. If you don't meet the bare minimum of being a partner, you go to jail. Okay? Providing the bare minimum for anyone is nothing to rejoice about. That is what you should be doing. Imagine thinking you're a good person because you get out of bed and go to work. That doesn't make you a good person. If you don't do that and don't provide for your family, and regardless of your gender or age, you're a bad person if you don't get out of bed and go to work. That's your job. You chose that job. And your job is doing what an adult does. Our society would collapse if women didn't do 70% or more of all the quiet and hidden labor. If we actually paid women what they do and how long they work, companies would go bankrupt. Half the money in the bank in most houses belong to the woman because not only does she work 8 hours a day, she comes home and usually does another 6 to 8 hours, an unpaid shift that most men just don't understand. That food that pops up on your table, it's not like Back to the Future where you can put something in the microwave and 5 seconds later it's a pizza. Things happen because women do their gender role, even though they don't have to, and they shouldn't have to. Men will never appreciate women in the way women deserve to be appreciated. The crap that women put up with astounds me. I thought it was normal for women to do 90% of the domestic labor. There are no gender jobs. You live in a house, you vacuum. Vacuuming your own house doesn't say I love you. That's just your job. Doing what you should be doing, regardless of age, gender, and marital status, it doesn't matter. You live somewhere, you vacuum. That's your job. That's not, I'm doing something special for you today, sweetheart. That's your job. Oh, I'm taking the kids for 1 hour, honey. That's not a treat. That's your job. She's with the kids, unless they're in school, 24 times 7 hours. You taking them for 2 hours isn't even a blip on the hours a week she deals with them. That's not a treat. A treat would be taking them for a week. Men live in delusion. What is a treat for women? Taking kids for 2 hours on Saturday is not giving your wife a break. Give your wife a break, or your husband a break, by doing your fair share every day. And if you go really well beyond what is expected, that's when it's called love. Vacuuming your own floors, cooking your own dinner is not love. That's what adults do. That's what roommates do. And I'm not a good person because I make my bed every morning. If you don't clean up your house and you live in filth, that's when you're a bad person. Men have to be rewarded for putting down the toilet seat. No, that's basic respect. That's bare minimum. That's bare minimum. You're not a good partner because you're present and you talk a little bit. That's bare minimum. Anything less, and it's borderline abuse. Ignoring somebody, taking them for granted, making them wish they were alone instead of with you. That is not good, being a good partner. Society would collapse if women woke up and said, you know what? The society I hold up on my own labor that's never acknowledged doesn't serve me. Because whenever you play the game of patriarchy, you're screwed before you even start. Because when you play by men's rules, they move the goalpost. And then they gaslight you saying, it never moved. The only way to win is to play your own game. Find what goal you want. Find what makes your life happy. And if it doesn't include a man or kids, that's just as valuable and should be applauded by society and by your family just as much as if you decided to have a child or a partner, regardless of what orientation you are. Our society does not applaud women who put their needs first. And men don't like it when women put their needs first, because then they become masculine. Because it's a masculine thing to pursue whatever desires you have. Women aren't supposed to pursue what they want. That's BS. I don't want to be friends with anyone who isn't self-confident, knows what they want, or is on the path to find out what they want. I don't want some submissive, silent person in my life. If I wanted somebody who thought they were garbage, I could go on Craigslist. Women will never receive gratitude for anything like what men demand from women. And women, until all the women on the planet say no, if you want Christmas, make it yourself. If you want an anniversary party, call up some people. I'm done holding everything together. Women are the Scotch tape and the glue. If women didn't have their thumbs and fingers in every crevice of a relationship, of society, we would collapse, because men don't build things. Women build things. And I'm talking metaphorically speaking. Women are nurturers. Socially, they're the care of the community. If women stopped acting in stereotypical feminine ways, our society would collapse. Because half the men out there can't take care of themselves because they don't want to take care of themselves. They rely and get married so they are taken care of, and they don't have to ever learn or take responsibility for taking care of themselves. And until women decide, you know what, I don't want to be your surrogate therapist, your surrogate mother, your surrogate hooker. I deserve to be an equal partner. And unless you're quadriplegic, have an autoimmune condition where you cannot function like other people, and you're not a child, you should be taking care of yourself. If you have a legitimate reason why you cannot consistently take care of yourself, that's one thing. Grown men can't take care of themselves. We call it weaponized incompetence. Men should be ashamed the way they treat women. And I read a book once, 30 Reasons Why Men Deserve Nothing. I'm surprised I can think of at least 500 reasons. A society that hinges on invisible labor of women, cis, trans, whatever, is a society I want nothing to do with. Women are trafficked every day into the belief system that their needs are unimportant. Their discomfort doesn't matter. Their whole goal in life is to prop up the patriarchal inability of men to lead, to serve, to care. And until women decide, you know, I give you 5 M&Ms and I'm lucky to get 1 back, it's not worth the emotional and the psychological toll it takes on me. That's why women develop autoimmune conditions more than men do in relationships. When your partner is like a child, it must be exhausting to have an adult child. Unless you can't legitimately take care of yourself for mental, psychological, physical reasons, you better be taking care of yourself. I would lose all respect and attraction for a partner if I have to take care of them outside of being a nurse. If I want to take care of somebody who probably won't appreciate it for 25 years, I'll have a kid, not a partner, because it's not worth it. Society downplays motherhood. They treat women like second-class citizens. They think they own you if you're pregnant. Our society looks at silent, unpaid labor and says it doesn't exist, it doesn't matter, it's not primary, it's not masculine, so who cares? Our society doesn't deserve babies. Our society doesn't deserve mothers. We deserve to have no legacy at all. Because very few people actually act in ways that women are just told to act like. And Christianity is one of the most toxic, sexist, dehumanizing interpretations of the patriarchy. And until women see themselves as more like a confident woman than a Anna Duggar, we will all be in a better place. And if men open their minds half as often as they open their mouths, we'll all be in a better place. And pick up a platter. And men, if you have time to lean, you have time to clean. And I would also say, men, cut the chatter and pick up a platter.